this is Ali, and today, well, we want to work on making those damn and good tabs work. We want to switch between tabs. So let me add a region here, and we call it tab backgrounds. Okay. By the way, if you are using Eclipse, there is a plugin for doing the same stuff I'm doing with these tabs. And well, for making it so that our tab works, how should I handle that? There is a method that we want to override, and that is, we don't need these guys anymore, so I will put that in here, another tab region. I will say setters and getters, and I will close that. Thank you. Now, the override method is mouse clicked, and it has, of course, a mouse X. It has a mouse Y, and finally it has mouse button, the button we clicked on mouse. Okay, we first call this super. Now after that we check first if we need to define a GUI rectangle, and we call it rectangle equals to new new GUI rectangle of x size divided by 2 minus 16, comma, minus 14, comma, 32, comma, 14. Okay? And no, I'm going ahead of myself. This is not the one. This is not the one. This is not the part. I'm going ahead of myself. Okay? So we define for int I equals 0, I is less than, of course, tabs dot length, and I, not I, this I plus plus. Okay, so we say we need to define that GUI rectangle anyway. So GUI rectangle. Okay, we say rectangle equals to tabs of index of I. Then we say int side equals to 1 by default. If I is greater than 2, then we are on the right side. Then we say if rectangle dot inrect of this, the mouse X, the mouse Y, and the side. If we are inside the rect that we are clicked, then we say active tab equals to tabs of I. Now we need to do stuff, but yeah, first let's do the break, and let's see what happens now. Play. So we see that, hey, we are changing the tabs and the backgrounds are showing based on the tab we selected. But there is a big but here. Do you remember I told you that everything you do in the GUI class are only client side? Hey, what does that mean? It means if me and my friend are looking inside the same interface and I'm teaching him how to use the interface, if I switch the tab, it won't happen for him. No, sir. He will still see the first interface. Yeah, because I'm doing it on client side. So, how can we send a message to the server? Well, things have changed in Minecraft 1.7. I should say I like it now more than before, because in previous we had this concept of packet handler that would send and receive packets, and then there was this big huge ugly case statements or if statements that you would read the ID of the message, then you would do blah 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 blah. Now things are a lot easier. First of all, a new package called network, and of course network, and of course we have one network, so no plural there. Inside the network we will have another package called messages, but inside the network itself we want to have a Java class, and that is called packet handler. Okay, packet handler. It's not extending from anything. We want to say public static final simple network wrapper. We call it instance equals to network registry dot instance dot new simple channel of reference dot mod ID, or mod ID I said, not mod name. So what this line says, it says that, hey, Minecraft Network Manager, please register a channel for this mod. Okay? Then we say private static int ID equals to 0. Then we say public static int next ID, and we simply say return ID plus plus. Okay. Then we say public static void send to all around, and here we say iMessage of type message, and the tile entity and int range. Okay, what we say here, we say instance dot send to all around the message, comma, new network registry dot, here we should have target point of entity dot get word object. So this gives the word that the entity exists in it. Okay. Dot provider dot dimension ID. So we get the dimension that the player or the tile entity is in. Then of course we want to send the x coordinates. So entity dot x coord, entity dot y coord, entity dot z coord, and finally we send in the range. Holy crap, that's a big line there. Let's break it. This, and this. Okay, so what we are sending actually is the message we got and a new target point inside network registry. That target point accepts the dimension of the tile entity, the coordinates of the tile entity, and the range we provided, and sends the message back. Okay. Now, I want an overload for this guy to make my life easier, and that is if inside I didn't provided any range, what should I do now? We call the same thing I have inside the method. So this method calls the other overload. We send the message, the entity, and by default I will say, hey, I want the range of 64. This is all our packet handler. What do we need to do next? Well, let me check my stuff basically. Yeah. Inside the mod itself, where we are defining the creative tab, we say public static simple network wrapper. We call it network wrapper. Just that. Okay. And well, that should be it, I think, for time being. Yep. Now we go back to here. Our GUI. When we are changing the tab, we want to send a message. True? Yes, that's true. But let me take a look. Okay. So here we want a new Java class. We call it factory tab changed. Okay. Factory tab changed. This guy is ugly. Implements iMessage and iMessage handler of type factory tab changed. And iMessage. This is how you define your new messages. They should implement iMessage and iMessage handler. Those are familiar with these two. These are two delegates that go inside an enumerator. So here we want int x, y, z, and the index of the tab we are changing, basically. Okay. And of course now we need to have a constructor that has everything. I will add another constructor, so public factory tab changed that has no parameters. And then from byte that is using byte buff. Here we are reading data, okay? So it's like a client getting data from a server. So buff, sorry, x equals to buff dot read int, y equals to buff dot read, what is your problem? Read int, then z is again int, and finally index is an int. Okay, so we got the data from the server. Now a client wants to send the data to server. We say buff dot write int. The int we want to say is x. Remember, the order you are reading should be the same order that you are writing to the buffer. Then the next one is y. The next one is z. And finally, the next one is index. Okay, these two are simple enough. We are sending some data to the server. Another client will get the data and will read it line by line to put things in the client. The magic happens here. So we say entity player. Why are you not happy? Entity player, and we call it player, equals to, here we have a message context dot get server handler dot player entity. Okay, then we say if player dot open container is instance of factory container. If we have the factory GUI opened, okay, we need to do some stuff later on. But now we get the tile entity equals to player dot work object dot get tile entity on x, y, and z. Okay, remember we have these inside our message, so we need to add this guy here, message dot. We can't refer to the class itself because in this point the class doesn't know what is those xyz and it will return 0, but the message that we send back and forth contains those integers in itself. Okay, and we say if entity is instance of te factory, then we need to do stuff. First we say te factory equals to tilecast. What did I tell? Typecast, not what, but okay, we cast it as te factory entity. Okay, so we get the entity, and now we call something called factory dot set active tab. Of course we don't have that, but we will make it. So it's from message dot index. Okay, now we can move here, alt enter, create method of the target is factory itself. Okay, and in the title entity factory, wait a minute, my notes, where are you? Tile entity factory. Set active tab. Okay. Here we say for not yet, not there, not there. What did I do? Yeah, it's int. God damn it, that's index. Okay. So for int I equals to 0, I is less than tabs that we don't have yet, dot length, and we say I plus plus. And here we say if tabs of, come on, tabs of index I does not equals to index that we gave in, then say tabs of index I equals to false, and else, no, else we say tabs of index I equals to 2. So I'm switching tabs back and forth. Okay, now we need to define this guy, create local variable tabs, and that's not not local variable, field tabs, and that is Boolean. Okay, so we have Boolean tabs, and in here in constructor, of course, we need to say, hey, tabs equals to new Boolean of 6. There we go. Now, what does this do? What the heck here is your problem? No, sorry, not tabs I. I does not equal to index. What was I thinking? Okay, if I is not equal to index. So what is this doing? Well, by default, it is just saying that, hey, tile entity, update the array. But can we change the GUI like this? Well, here, when we are drawing something, we say let me think about it. This should not change the tabs on the server side. Unfortunately, we are not doing something like that. Okay. We need to define a method that we are saying that 1 minute. Okay, we need a method here that I will name it public what? Void set active tab. We get an index int index, and we say active tab equals to tabs of index. Then we can get public GUI rectangle. What was that? Get active tab, and we return active tab, and one more is public GUI rectangle get tab at, int index, and we say return tabs of index. These won't be used, but meh, for the sake of completeness. And here I should do a sanity check. We say if index is less than tabs dot length, then return this. After that, if it's not, then return null. So we are sending an index to the tile entity. Is there a way to send it back to the GUI? Well, it's not a way for the T factory to send to the GUI, but there is a way to read stuff from the factory. So here we say int and here we need to say public void, not void, but Boolean array of, not Boolean array, what I'm thinking of, public int get active tab, and here we say for int I equals to 0, I is less than tabs length semicolon I plus plus. We say if tabs of I, then we return I. Otherwise, that we shouldn't come to this port at all, we return -1. Okay. Here we say int in the active tab index equals to, or I should say, why do we say active tab equals to tabs of the index. Now in the index we get the factory dot get active tab, and that's it. So yeah, so what did we do? Well, first of all, on mouse click we want to send a message, okay? But when the message is sent, let's say we sent the message, and in the message we read the tile entity in the word for every player. We say, hey, all the tile entities for that player that I got in that word, if you are factory, then change the message for the active tab in there. So the tile entities will set the active tabs like that. If any of those players opened the GUI, the GUI's active tab will be changed depending on the factory and draw the stuff for them. Now, the only thing remained is to send the message, the actual part. And that's fairly easy, honestly. Let me find my notes again. Yeah, that's fairly easy. We say packet handler dot instance dot send to all around. What we want is this one is new factory tab changed. Remember, that's one of the messages we can send. We send the factory and the index. Okay, hey, that throw an error. True, because in our message we have no overload for the constructor that accepts a tile entity. Well, we say public factory tab changed. We accept a tile entity factory and we call it factory and int index. Okay. Then we call this, we call factory.xchord, factory.ychord, factory.zchord, and finally index. Okay. Now we have this overload. This guy should be happy and we are set. So this is how you send a message to the server, and this is how the server handles the message. It sends back the message to tile entity. This is how you set things on tile entity, and then this is how you can get the stuff back from your tile entity. We will see this back and forth message sendings and reading variables a lot. Okay, now nothing is changed on this instance, but we have an error. What is the error? Java cannot find symbol class blah 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 blah. What do you mean? Ah, yeah, of course. So play. So nothing will change on this instance. Oh, something's changed. We got an error. The error is saying, I assume it's, huh? Come on, where is your error? Yeah, array index out of bind -1. How can we solve it? Well, it's easy actually. First of all, we forgot something. In constructor, when we put down something, we need to say, hey, tabs of 0 is equals to true. And that by itself solves that issue. But, hey, why not do a sanity check here? So we say if this guy is not returning -1. There was a reason for that. So if that guy does not returning -1, then do that. Now we should be okay. Okay. So single player board. And there we go. What has error? This connection is terminated for, wow, I had done something wrong this time now. And what is that guy? Java lang null pointer undefined message for discriminator 0 in channel JPIS. What? Message channel read. Where am I sending that message wrong? Oh yeah. When you see something like this, undefined message, it's telling by itself, hey, you forgot something related to messages. And of course, that's the case. Well, how the hell should Minecraft know that this is a network message? You need to register it, of course. So mod network messages. Okay. Mod network messages has something called, like any other inits, has public void and that is static, of course, so that other classes can accept it. Init, and in the init we say packet handler dot instance dot register the message for us, and that is factory tab changed. Okay, dot class, and again factory tab changed dot class, comma packet handler dot next ID. You remember we added that, and hey, now we say, hey, this is side server side. Okay, so this message is server side, although I'm fairly sure that all the messages I will send is server side. And now if I run, again, I forgot something. We added the message, we didn't read it anywhere. And well, where should we read it? Pre-init is not a good place because we are not initialized anything here yet. And well, right before the proxy, we say mod network messages dot init. Now we are set, and now we can go for it. Yeah, let's see it. And well, let's keep it there. And there we go. Now we are not sending anything. Why is that? Well, let's take a look at our factor GUI. I missed something. I should have missed something. I should have missed something, and okay. And yeah, there is something missing. I'm setting the active tab to tabs here on our local, but then on top, in here, I'm getting it from factory. Although this message should set it for every factory, but not mine. So we say factory dot set active tab of I, and that should be it. Okay, because this message is going to every other player other than me, so I need to sync myself in the GUI again by my hand. That was funny to forget that. And yeah, now we are doing stuff. But if this was a server, if another player had this GUI opened, if I click this, he would see the same tab I'm looking at right now because we synced the messages ourselves. Okay, so now I think this is redundant, if I'm correct, because we are getting that on top. And yeah, As you see, now we are doing it properly. And of course, any player that has the GUI point, because we are reading it from a tile entity, it will be updated because this packet handler is updating the entity itself from the server side. So this is how you sync stuff between server and client, okay? And I think that is enough for today. Let me take a look what will be covered in next episode. Well, I think next episode I will start adding some functionality to the slots for the GUI, because our GUI background has the images but it doesn't have any slots, and that would happen between, of course, the container and the factory GUI itself. Okay, so have fun everybody, till next episode, bye bye.